Hi everyone, my name's Lex. A lot of people refer to me as Uncle Lex here on campus. I know I'm not your blood uncle, I'm not your long lost mother's brother. But in Aboriginal culture, we call our elders uncle or auntie, and they're the people who teach us, so we've got to give them that respect. I'm elder on campus here, I'm Aboriginal elder on campus, and a lot of people look at me and they go, he's not a black fella, he's a white fella, and I go, shh, don't tell anyone, I'm undercover, alright? With Aboriginal people, my people were first contacted by the English 227 years ago. I have Irish ancestry and Aboriginal ancestry. But because we weren't conquered and reconquered for thousands of years, the English were the first to arrive and sort of invade us or colonise us, whichever way you want to look at it. We have a certain gene in our body that when we mix with other races and other nationalities, we take on their features within 2 generations. My father's a lot darker than me, and I've really thrown to the Irish side. But that doesn't stop us from our connection to country, our connection to language and song, and some of our traditional tools. There's a lot of you here today, but if you get a bit of a time, have a look at some of my traditional tools. We'll have a look at 2 of them. And I'm a wood carver, so I've been taught a lot of our traditional culture from a little boy, which I'm very fortunate. I'm going to give you a welcome to country and a smoking ceremony. So, can anyone tell me how many countries in Australia? Anyone? Yep, good. As long as you didn't say 1. People go, oh, Uncle Lex, I think you might be a bit slow in the head. There's only 1 country, it's Australia. Well over 300 different countries in Australia and well over 300 different languages. Boundaries are respected. We don't have the right to go into someone else's country and use their resources and do what I would do in my country here. About, people take kilometres, but probably roughly 20 or 30 kilometres that way, we're running into Guringai country. That's not my country. I have actually still certain rights here in my country, Darra country, but I don't have the same rights in Guringai country. Traditionally, if I wanted to go into their country, I would sit on their borders and I would light a fire like this, and I would put special gum leaves on there and send up special smoke. And I'd wait to be approached by a traditional custodian. I might have to do that a few times. I might wait there for up to 2 weeks. They would come and ask me my business. I could be there to meet for important ceremony, to share important news like the English have arrived, or to travel through country to gather more stories for my people. Our rock engravings and our rock art right throughout Australia all connect up like a big spider web, and we call them song lines. And we gather and we go into those sacred places to learn stories on how to be a good person through your life. Have you ever heard of an Aboriginal person going walkabout? Yep, that's what it is. We don't just walk aimlessly around through the bush like we're lost. We're going to gather more stories for our people and build on our education. A bit like you guys being here at uni. They would tell me the rules of that country when I'm going through if they didn't know me. Where I was allowed to go, where I wasn't allowed to go. There's certain areas which are men's areas, certain areas which are women's areas, and even if I would be an initiated man, there would be certain places I was allowed to go and where I wasn't allowed to go, okay? Because there's different stages of initiation. Once you go through, you're building on that knowledge. And they would put me through a smoking ceremony. That's to make sure I'm not bringing any bad energies into their country or bad thoughts, not bringing any bad spirits into their country. Now today, I can't tell you where to go and where you can't go in my country here. And I don't own it, I'm just a custodian. But I am connected to this country. There's my brothers and sisters, they're the trees, there's stories in them, and I'm connected to Mother. I'm connected to the stories. I can't tell you where to go and where you can't go, but I can ask you really humbly to look after one another and share, because we have a long history of sharing and looking after each other right throughout Australia. We don't have history of warring over each other's land. It's only been 227 years in Australia now since the English came here that we have poor people, that we have homeless people, that we have orphans, and that we have prisons. We survived here for 60, 70, 80,000 years plus in relatively harmony. The biggest thing we fought over, believe it or not, was the ladies. Unfortunately, we fought over the ladies. But we didn't try to take each other's country, and we had strict sharing laws. If you're all my mob and I went out hunting today, if I come back and sat over there and said, nah, you're not getting any of my kangaroo, I'm going to eat it all myself, I would be in huge trouble. I have to share with you. There's certain designs that we use in this country, our paintings and our carvings, that tell you that story, that simple story of sharing, looking after one another. Now there's quite a few of you guys. If you want to come through the smoke, you're welcome to. I've prepared a smoking fire for you, okay? I'm going to sing a song. I pay respects whenever you're singing someone else's song in Aboriginal culture. You don't own it. You pay respects to that person who wrote that song. That song is written by Uncle Gubbu Ted Thomas many years ago. And this song is about the dreaming, about peace, about love, and about standing strong. Really looking after each other. Sorry guys, one of my little brothers here and I don't want him to get burnt. He's a little frog. Want to have a look, Fabian? I'm no better than this frog. This is a perfect example. He could be one of my aunties, one of my uncles, one of my grandparents, even my brother. A lot of things with Western culture, we take. No, we've got to leave and look after them. Because we believe in, you can call it modern words, karma. Well, in my culture, we call it yanana bujari gumara. It's walking on the good path. If I didn't have any respect for this frog and showed him disrespect and just said, oh, he doesn't matter, I'll kill him, bad stuff's going to happen to me. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. So we have to look after my little brother here. We'll put him in here. No one step over near my bags and we'll hide him there and I'll put him back. So anyone who wants to come through the smoke, think about Mother Earth. She gives us everything that we use on a daily basis. None of you can tell me one thing that we use on a daily basis that doesn't come from Mother Earth. iPads, a camera, this microphone, everything, our cars, come from Mother Earth. We pay her much respect because it hasn't been that long. We can't eat and drink out of our rivers anymore. They're polluted with rubbish and poisons. So everything comes to Mother, but we have a responsibility in how we look after it. Because I don't care who you are, how rich you are, how poor you are, and how deadly you think you are, we all drink from the same water. And we're all caretakers and we're all responsible for Australia now. And none of us own it. We're leaving it here for our future generations. And we have to think about that. So I'd like you to think about those lessons as we go through the smoke. Feel free to come through. I'd probably ask my sister Sandy to come through first, and Jess, and she'll lead you through, guys, and then just sit back down and I'll sing a song for you. Burgu, burgu, burgu. We are Gadal one. Burgu, burgu, burgu. Narabagani mirabu gaga. Gabaganal, gabaganal, gabaganal. We are Gadal one. Gabaganal, gabaganal, gabaganal. Narabagali mirabu gaga. Winangai, winangai, winangai. We are Gadal one. Winangai, winangai, winangai. Narabagali mirabu gaga. Warangal, warangal, warangal. We are Gadal one. Warangal, warangal, warangal. Narabagali mirabu gaga. Gonyolong along, gonyolong along, gonyolong along. We are Gadal one. Gonyolong along, gonyolong along, gonyolong along. Yanyu gare nyurawa. Burgu, burgu, burgu. We are Gadawan. Burgu, burgu, burgu. Narabagali mirabu gaga. Gabaganao, gabaganao, gabaganao. We are Gadawan. Gabaganao, gabaganao, gabaganao. Narabagali mirabu gaga. If you want to come through the smoke, guys, we'll do a few more. We won't just go one at a time because we haven't got a lot of time and there's quite many of yous. So is anyone else that wants to come through the smoke now? Yeah? Don't be shy. Sandy wants me to talk to you about a little bit about history in Sydney. And we haven't got long, have we, Sandy? So if you want to come through the smoke, and I'm going to keep talking. We don't normally do this, but because we're running short on time. Now, I spoke about initiation before. When you're about 13, as a girl and a boy, you would get prepared to go through initiation, okay? I'm an initiated man. I've been initiated out in Nampa country because, unfortunately, here in Sydney, we lost a lot of our culture, our songs, because we were the first contacted. We're bringing it back now, slowly, slowly. Some of those lessons that you would learn when before you go through initiation is to be humble, to be respectful, to be patient, to have no ego. Like I said, you're not even better than that frog. If anything, he's better than us because he doesn't create landfill, doesn't drive a car around, you know, doesn't create rubbish. He's not nasty. I've never seen him be nasty to his other brother frog, okay? He's just being cool. He's not trying to compete with him. And that's where I come with this bit of bark, with those lessons. We make fishing line out of this, we make rope, we make all sorts of things. This is my traditional name, burren. We call this burren, stringy bark, okay? But if you're selfish, you're greedy, you're not being cool, you can be like this bit of bark. You can just snap, all right? You're not reaching your full potential, and that doesn't matter whether you're Aboriginal or not to learn this story. Our stories should be shared with everyone right throughout Australia because they're very important. So who we got? We got Sandy. Where's Jess? Jess. This bit of bark's Sandy, this bit of bark's Jess. Is Jess better than Sandy? Anyone? Sandy better than Jess? Nah, they might look a little bit different. Someone said the other day I was doing this story and one was fatter than the other one was me. I said, yeah, I'm a bit fatter, but I'm not better than this fella. We're brothers. So we come together, helping each other out, sharing, being patient, being respectful. Sandy just went and bought Jess a cup of coffee, looking after her. Like you fellas, looking after each other and sharing. In Aboriginal culture, we don't compete for food or housing or just our normal day-to-day lives. We check our egos, traditionally. Yeah, we had competitions to see who could throw boomerangs the furthest, who was the best spear thrower, who was the best singer. Obviously not me, okay? But in our day-to-day lives where we survived, we didn't compete against each other. We shared and looked after each other. See that bit of rope I just made? I'll get used to pass it around. That's strong now. That's Sandy and Jess. Can't break them because they're looking after each other. They're sharing. So in Sydney, who knows there was wars in Sydney? Anyone? Hands up if you know there's wars in Sydney. Yep, there's wars in Sydney. When the English come, they dug up a lot of our traditional foods out the Hawkesbury out near Richmond. You all know where Richmond is? And they planted corn, okay? When they dug up our traditional foods and we weren't allowed to go out there and collect them anymore, we just helped ourselves to the corn because we believed that it was Mother Earth providing us with a new food. We were hungry and we were used to sharing. We had no concept of stealing. English didn't like that. They seen us we were stealing. They declared martial law and any more than 6 of us were seen, So if they seen us all having a cultural talk like this, and I'm educating all you young fellas, the redcoats will walk through the bush, they ask no questions, they just start shooting us. Used to bury our little babies, all their bodies, leave their heads above. Redcoats had a competition, so you could kick their babies' heads off the furthest. They get our babies and smash their heads up against the trees in Sydney. We're forbidden to speak language, we're forbidden to practice ceremony, and we're forbidden to any more than 6 of us to hang out together because we were stealing the corn. It was ironic when they harvested all the corn and it went into the docks in those certain years. I can't recall the dates right off the top of my head. Over half of it sat in Sydney in the docks and rotted away because they had too much corn come from other areas. They didn't have a concept of sharing, looking after each other like we did. Richmond Road, they had gibbets all down Richmond Road and they hung our people for months to warn them off from stealing the corn. We had a couple of pretty strong fellas. You all heard of Ned Kelly? Yep. Well, have anyone heard of Pummelway? Pummelway was one of our strong, powerful warriors. Everyone knows about Ned Kelly, but he was still a thief. Pummelway wasn't a thief. He was defending his country and his people, and he knew what was going to happen with the English, how they were taking over. So through history in Sydney, we've lost a lot of that. My grandmother in 1812 was one of 4 Aboriginal children put into the Parramatta Institute for Aboriginal Children. She was first stolen, one of 4. So through my family, I got an 80-year-old auntie who's only just now admitting that she's Aboriginal. My grandmother, my father, my aunties would never admit that they were Aboriginal, and if they had a little bit of skin colour, they said they were Maori, Indian, Sri Lankan, any other culture than Aboriginal, because they were ashamed to be Aboriginal. The English knew that our colour would breed out. That's why they brought in the white policy, the stolen gen, because they wanted to wipe us right out, breed us out. Brah, see your watch there? What's your name?
Val.
Val. If I steal that watch off you, Val, how many years go by that it's okay that I've stolen that watch off you? I'd say none. Who's got a flash ring? Sis, you got a flash ring? Yep. What if I steal that flash ring off you and them ones? Any years go by that it's okay that I've stolen it? Nah. Straight still stolen. No treaty's been signed, no water's been declared, no money has changed hands. You know what I call real estate agents? Fences. They buy and trade stolen goods. And it's true. But we don't only get done over by the English, we're getting, and Jess said to me talk about this, I don't like to get normally political because I like to teach the lessons of looking after each other and sharing. But some of our history in Sydney, because I'm that class as being Aboriginal, people don't look at me as being Aboriginal. I'm too white to be black and I'm too black to be white. I'm caught in the middle. I'm lucky enough in places through my culture and through the stuff that I do, that's how I earn respect, because they go, oh wow, Uncle Lex does know his stuff. He does know our traditional stories, does know how to make the stuff. But a lot of my people from other countries, unfortunately, have come into Sydney and in other areas around Australia and come into the land grabs when there's a lot of money. When the white fellas and society are still selling off land and making lots of money. And they've got that greed bug, and we have a lot of our land councils in Sydney, we still don't get recognised. If I go to the land council in Mount Druitt, it's called Darubin, one of our names, that's our name for the Hawkesbury River. They're fellas from outer countries, Aboriginal people from different areas, not from Sydney, not from traditional country here. They're from Queensland, from all over the place. A few select families who make a lot of money out of our land and sell our land off. Okay, they lost a lot of their culture, but they look Aboriginal because they're dark, all right? Aboriginal people in Australia now since colonisation come of all different colours, shapes, sizes, and try to remember that. One of the worst offensive things that I can have said to me is people come up and say, you don't look Aboriginal. When I was younger and a bit nastier, I say, you don't look stupid either, brah. But I can't say that now. I've got to be nice to everyone because I'm here and love hanging out with you guys. That's some of our history, and we've got to slowly change it. People say, oh, we want to be part of the reconciliation group and we want to reconcile. Well, we've got nothing. In Sydney, I pay rent to live on my own country. So traditionally would have been passed down to me. I have responsibilities for sites, for country. We still burn our country. We do cool fires. We don't burn the tops of the trees. We don't scar the trunks. We burn it slowly and look after country. We care for it. I still have traditional responsibilities for country, but I've got to pay rent to a landlord because I can't afford to buy. The memorial for all our people that got killed in those wars, the frontier wars, we lend a little bit of land of St. John of God Hospital in Richmond, a mental hospital, give us a little bit of land out the back so we can have a big long-necked turtle garden to remember our old people that were fallen, that were hung, that were shot. I went to federal court a couple of years ago for native title. You all heard of native title? Yeah. Yep. Guess what the judge said to me? Mr. Dad, you can't prove connection of culture for the last 200 years, so we're not going to give you native title. But you steal my family, take them away from them, give them alcohol, substances to forget the pain. A lot of my aunties, uncles and stuff like that, they don't want to admit they're Aboriginal because if they do, the children are going to be taken away from them. Regardless if they're good parents or not. You're Aboriginal, we're going to take your kids away from you. Because that was the white policy. So of course they're going to hide, so how am I going to show connection to culture? Even though I can still do a lot of my stories, still carve wood, all that sort of stuff. So that's the dilemma that some of our people face, and it's happening right still throughout Australia. We have more stolen generation now than we ever did. The government's closing down outback communities in Western Australia, South Australia, and what for? Money, for mining. We're going to take you, so it's like taking someone from Germany, whacking them in France, taking them all away from their family. You're not allowed to go to church anymore. You're not allowed to speak this language. And I tell you what, Brock, you're not used to alcohol or drugs, but we're going to give you some to forget the pain, get you hooked on some substances, and then we're going to tell you you're a filthy, rotten human being because you can't handle it. That's what's happened in Australia. That's the history. Turn on the TV, Channel 9, Channel 7, Channel 10, all those mainstream television stations, you're not going to hear any of this because it's, oh no, it didn't really happen. And we can't go back to our old way. We talk about closing the gap. People talk about, anyone heard of closing the gap policy right throughout Australia? We're closing the gap towards medication, doctors, psychiatrists. If we went and closed the gap and met in the middle and learnt about some of our old ways where we survived here for thousands of years, I think we might get somewhere. We've got bush foods. I can take you and find you medicine in this bush right now for certain ailments. There's bush foods that we've planted around here for sore stomach. My coffee here, a bit of sarsaparilla, make up a tea. I can have a drink for it. I'll tell you a little story about myself and why I come here down here to Macquarie. We're on a good path, Sandy? Yep.
Yep, 10 minutes.
All right. I hope to catch up with you guys and talk about a little bit more happier stuff and some more stories. But I got diagnosed with bipolar many years ago. I think I was just an excitable kid. I don't think I really had a full-on mental illness, but the doctor said I did. I was a bit hypo, a lot of energy, and traditionally that would have been run out of me and I would have been a hunter, dancer, and I would have used all that energy, etc. Doctors had me on up to 14 tablets a day. I used to walk like this. I was that drugged up for years, about 15 years. I decided I'd had enough and I wanted to get back to culture and get back to our traditional ways. I thought, nah, this is no good. Seen a lot of brothers die and get really ill and go into prison, all sorts of things. So I decided to go and live on country, and I went up the top of the Blue Mountains and I went and lived in the bush for 3 years. In a tent, couldn't live off the land like our old people because a lot of our animals have been wiped out. Bush foods aren't growing the way they used to because of we're not burning country, we're not looking after country like we used to. So I had my cousin, he used to come in and bring me food in, come and visit me. But I got off all the medication and connected with Mother again. Connected with Mother Earth, connected with the old fellas, done a lot of walking, a lot of thinking, drank that fresh water out of the mountain and got better. I was there for about almost 3 years. And then Chris, my cousin, he comes here and does welcomes and smoking ceremonies. Almost 7 years ago, come and said, Lex, you're really good at fire, brother, and I've got to do a smoking ceremony down at Macquarie University. Can you come down and help me light the fire because it's raining? I said, oh, okay. And I'm a pretty shy fella. I wasn't used to talking to fellas like this, you guys. And I said, yeah, I'll come down and light the fire for you on one condition. I don't talk to the people. I don't want to talk to the people. I light the fire for you, don't introduce me and leave me alone. But I met a few people and I suppose rest is history. They got me down here doing welcomes, stories, smoking ceremonies. Now they've employed me as elder in residence and I get to share culture with you. So I've grown and it's been very important for us to share our stories still with you. About looking after one another, about sharing. Because we all drink from the same water, guys. They call us multicultural now. We had over 300 different countries, over 300 different languages. We've been multicultural for thousands and thousands of years. Law was the same. Our Aboriginal law was the same right throughout the country. But we had a lot of differences, different weapons. People say, oh, you're Aboriginal, you can play the didgeridoo. No, it's not from our country. It's a men's instrument and it's up from north. And didgeridoo's a white fella's name also. There's a little bit of history. It's called a yidiki or a yidaki or a gurup murup gumbuk. When Charles Darwin was cruising up on the Mayflower up in Yongle country, he heard the fellas playing the yidiki on the sand, and that was the rhythm they were playing. Didgeridoo, 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 and he named it. Because a lot of white fellas don't think we've got cool names or cool ceremony, so they've got to change it. Okay? So we'll lighten up a bit. Want to hear a quick story, Sandy? All right. So, have you all heard of the dreaming? The dreaming is creation stories. Well, if you get time to come up in this learning circle, I want you to read the plaque that I've written that stands for the learning circle. So whenever anyone walks into this learning circle, I don't care if I'm hanging out with a VC here. No one's more important than anyone else. We all walk into this learning circle humbly and respectfully. And if you look along the top wall where everyone's sitting on the tools, there's a Dreamtime story. Any of you ever want to come up to Warrawara, W3A, and grab me if I've got time, or you see me, I'm doing stuff up here, come and hang out. I've got time for every single one of you, and I want to hear some of your story, because that's the dreaming. That's a creation story when we were animals, and men were animals, and animals were men and women. We shape-shift, and that's where this creation story started. But also the dreaming is you sharing your stories with me and me sharing my stories with you. We're sharing each other's stories. We're sharing in each other's dreaming. So a long, long time ago in the dreaming, in the Nurumpa, or the Gonyolongalong, the birds decided to have a party. And there was no one more excited to have a party than Mr. Bat. You know Mr. Bat? He's the perfect party animal. He stays up all night. On the day of the party, Mr. Bat got dressed up in his bestest party clothes, got some special gum sap from the tree, put in his fur as old-fashioned gel, make his hair all neat, and he marches down to the bird party. He gets there, gets his security guard, Mr. Eagle. Mr. Eagle puts out his big wing and he goes, hang on, Bat, where do you think you're going? Bat goes, I'm going to the party, Mr. Eagle. Yep. Mr. Eagle goes, this is the bird party, Bat? He goes, yeah, I'm a bird. I got wings, definitely a bird. Mr. Eagle shakes his head and he goes, He says, you're a weird looking animal. You got fur, you got teeth, you're different. Go away, you're not welcome here, you're a weirdo. Mr. Bat was so sad. He flew up into this big old gum tree and he cried and he cried and he cried and he cried a little bit more. And he made that branch all slippery with his tears and whoops, he slipped upside down and he just hung there all depressed. But it wasn't long. He heard a story in the wind. The animals were having a party. He goes, oh, yippee. Same thing. Day of the party, he got dressed up in his bestest party clothes. Got some of that gum sap, put in his fur as old-fashioned gel. Walked down to the lake here, where it was really still. He looked at his reflection, he goes, yep, looking pretty smooth. Might find a girlfriend tonight. He marched off to the animal party. He gets there, gets his security guard this time, Mr. Wombat. Mr. Wombat puts out his big paw and he goes, where do you think you're going, Bat? He was a bit nervous, a bit shy this time. He goes, I'm going to the party, Mr. Wombat. Mr. Wombat said, Bat, this is an animal party? Because, yeah, I'm an animal. I got fur, I got teeth, I'm definitely an animal. Mr. Wombat says, He says, you're a weird looking bird. You got wings, you can fly. None of us can fly. Go away, you're different, you're not welcome, you're a weirdo. Mr. Bat was just beside himself this time, He flew up into that big old gum tree and he cried and he cried and he cried and he cried a little bit more. And he made that branch all slippery with his tears and whoops, slipped upside down and just hung there all depressed. And there was no Dr. Phil back in those days. Now the other bats were looking at this and they're going, what is going on with Wirrambee? He's normally the happiest fella in the bush. Why is he crying? Why is he all sad? And why is he hanging upside down? So they flew down and they had a yarn to him. They said, what's going on, Mr. Bat? And he told them the story. He said, I tried to go to the bird party. They said I wasn't welcome. They said I was an animal and I was weird and I was different. Then I heard about the animal party. I tried to go there. They said I was a bird. They said I was weird, I was different and I wasn't welcome. So that's why I'm up in this tree. I'm so sad and depressed. Well, the other bats, they had a bit of a yarn and they decided to hold the biggest, best party the bush had ever did see. And who'd they invite, sis? Who do you reckon they invited? Everybody. They invited all the birds, all the animals, to teach them a very valuable lesson. That you never, ever, ever leave anyone out of a party or a game or any social situation. And that's why bats still hang upside down today, to remind us that we're all got to be cool. And like this sister t-shirt says, I care for Macquarie. We've got to look after each other. So it's about caring for the environment, caring for each other, and looking after one another. We're inclusive, not exclusive. Now, Sandy, I'm going to show you the handshake that goes with that. You ready?
Oh, no.
I taught the VC this handshake the other day. This is our commitment to looking after each other and sharing. Awesome.
Wait a minute. Thank you so much, Uncle Lex.
Cool.
Spending time with us today.
Hope it's something that's not going to make me even fatter. All right.
Homemade.
Oh, some Lily Pillar jam. Oh, thanks. Just 'cause, can you feel the love?
Thank you so much. I think we're really lucky to have Lex spend the time, do the smoking ceremony and talk to us today. It's the perfect start for our class because I'm hoping not only Jess and I will be stronger together, but we'll all be stronger together and do a lot of sharing over the semester. And hopefully Uncle Lex will be back later in the semester and do some more talking with us and some more sharing. So if everyone can say a very big thank you. And those carvings are new. Are those the ones on top? Have they always been there, the carvings on top?
No, I finished
the
them
ones you
just
wanted
before
to do?
Christmas.
Oh, they look
So it's our
fantastic.
creation of the Sydney area on how everything was created between mother, father, how they made love. It's a beautiful love story. Let me give you the mail. And yeah, if anyone wants to come and hang out with me or talk or make stuff and just share stories, my door's always open. The only thing I ask, we be respectful to each other and look after one another.
Fantastic. Thank
Cool.
you, Uncle Lex.